All right, great. Welcome back to No More Losers Dating After Divorce. I'm your host, Susan Patang from the Quiet Zone Coaching. And today we're going to talk about repelling love losers. Okay. So you might be asking me, well, what the heck is a love loser and what am I doing to attract them? And we're going to tell you right now. So, first of all, I know you know the kind, okay? They seem really super nice at first and they shower you with little gifts and compliments and sweet nothings in your ear. When you get together with them, you feel like you're the only person in the world together with them, and it's so wonderful and so magical, and oh, this is just awesome, isn't it? And then the rut sets in. Okay, so they might start borrowing money from you, or maybe they disappear for days on end and you call and you text and there's no answer and then they just suddenly reappear. And then you're the crazy one when you say, where the hell have you been? Okay, you know the type. They're all caught up in their work and they never have time for you. Or conversely, it might be that they are the clingy type and you can't breathe. Okay, they're suffocating you. It could be that kind too. You know what I'm talking about. You've been there, you've seen it, you've done that too. Okay, and I have too. And the problem with it is that you want to throw the bum out, okay, but they're so nice. Okay, it's so sad because they're such a nice guy, but it's like, oh gosh, I don't know. That person is not the perfect partner for you. Okay. No matter how nice they are, no matter how sweet they seem. Okay. The best thing that you can possibly do, and yes, you want to break that off. Okay. You don't want to keep that. If you're in one of those relationships right now, run screaming. Okay. Because you're just going to get used and abused until the end of time. But the best way to make it work for you is to not attract them in the first place, right? So, how do we repel this kind of person before they get their hooks in you? How do we do that? So, here's how. Let me ask you this. What kind of messages do you send out to the world? What's the vibe that you give out? Do you know? Our attitudes and our core beliefs, our subconscious beliefs about life and the world and everything else color what we show to the world in our attitudes and our behavior. Okay. And we probably don't even know that we're doing it. Okay. I want you to try to figure out what it is you're sending out there. And if you don't know, here's how you tell. Okay. Your subconscious core beliefs are what determine what the vibe is that you send out. Okay. And the way to suss out what those things are is to listen to the little voice in your head, your self talk, that little devil that sits on your shoulder and makes little comments about everything that happens around you every day. You know what I'm talking about. So, what is that voice saying to you? Is it a negative voice or is it a positive voice? Is it saying nice things to you about yourself and relationships and people, or is it saying not so nice things? So, you might be saying, life sucks, or it's hard, or I hate my job and I hate my life. Or are you saying things like, I'm not a good person, I'm not worthwhile? And let me tell you, after you go through a divorce, especially if it's a long and contentious one, yeah, you feel like you've been through a blender and your self-worth is probably in the gutter. I get that. It happened to me. It happens to all of us. When we split from our ex, even if you weren't married and it wasn't a divorce, it's traumatic. Okay. And it can erode our feelings of self-esteem for ourselves, and it can also erode how we feel about other people. We might start to say, you know what, all guys are jerks, or you know what, I'm done dating, or it can say all kinds of horrible things to you about life and the world and other people and you. So listen to that voice. Okay. Is it telling you I'm not pretty enough? Is it telling you I'm not good enough? Is it telling you I'm too old, or I'm too set in my ways, or what is it saying? Okay. Is it telling you that life sucks and that guys suck? What is it saying? That is how you know, that little voice that runs in your head. That is how you know what the core beliefs that you have are. That's how you can tell what they are. So what we're going to do is we are going to take those core beliefs and we're going to see what's wrong with them and turn them around. That's the first step. So how do we do that? I give my clients something that I call life mantras. And the life mantra that we use for this is that's not true because. Okay, so let's say, you know what, I'm just not good enough, or I'm not young enough, or I'm not whatever. Okay, let's say I'm not good enough to attract a nice guy. Okay, I mean, I had a really horrible divorce, and I'm just not that smart. I didn't deal with it well. I was very emotional. I just don't think I could be a good partner. Okay, what do your kids think about you? Do they love you? What about your parents? Did they love you? How about your friends? Okay, if you feel like you're not lovable, look at all the people who do love you and who do care about you. That's not true because look at all these people. Okay, if you say to yourself, you know what, life is hard. It's hard. I just I can't deal with this crap anymore. Okay. That's not true because, and think of a time when life wasn't hard, when things went your way, when things were easy, things might have been easy, even if it was just for a day. Okay. Or even for a minute. Okay. Every single moment of your life was not hard. Okay. That's not true because, and here's why. So, what we're doing is we're using real events to combat that illogical thought process, and we're using logic. Okay. So, that's not true because that's going to help you turn around those negative beliefs about yourself and about life and about guys, because they're probably not true. Okay. Now, when I work with my clients, we actually pull out what's a list of what's called cognitive distortions, and we actually identify the negative thought process and work through it. But we'll talk about that another time. Right now, I just want you to say that's not true because. Okay. The next step is now you have to have something else to put there. All right. Now you have a vacuum. So if your subconscious is full of negative stuff and you're combating that negative stuff, you want to give it something positive and good to fill the hole with, right? Right. So how do we do that? Another life mantra. This one is called it's not just called, it is, I'm a badass because. Okay. So think about this. I'm a badass because I got the kids off to camp or school today. Good for you. I'm a badass because I got everybody to softball practice and got home and made dinner and got everybody's homework done. And now I have time to sit down and have a glass of wine. Hey, give yourself a pat on the back and a round of applause and say, I'm a badass because I did that. I'm a badass because I got a report off to my boss and he loved it. I'm a badass because I got through the supermarket and got everything that I needed. Okay, I'm a badass because I picked really comfortable clothes to wear today and it's a million degrees outside. Notice that these are all based on real events, again, real events, and on little tiny wins. Okay, that little devil that sits on your shoulder that tells you how bad you are. Okay, when you start telling it that you're a badass and here's why, okay, it can't argue with that because it's a real event. It's real, okay, and it can be the smallest of things, and that is important too, because all those little things that are easy to give ourselves a pat on the back about, they add up to big things. I'm a badass because I made one killer cup of coffee. Okay, I'm a coffee addict, if you couldn't tell. I'm a badass because I took care of my chores before I sat down to do this. You see how this is going, okay? So you can't argue with something that's real. And you are a badass. Give yourself that round of applause and the pat on the back, okay? You are retraining your subconscious to learn how special and wonderful and awesome and amazing you really are. Good for you. You're a badass because you did it. And this is just a wee little tiny part of what I do with my clients and teaching them how to build their self-confidence after a divorce and how to be the kind of person that they want to attract, because that's how you do it. Okay. So if you would like to learn how to do that, I want you to go to www.thequietzonecoaching.com/services. On that page, on my services page, you want to pick up a perfect partner assessment. It's my gift to you. It's free. But what we'll do is we will sit down and talk about on a Zoom call, just like this, and we will talk about the top 3 things that are keeping you from finding the perfect partner for you, and the number one thing that you can start doing right now to find them. promise you. Go to www.thequietzonecoaching.com/services. Perfect partner assessment. I will see you guys on Thursday. I hope you have a wonderful week. Namaste.